So today's lesson is just going to be an introduction to polynomials. And polynomials basically are just expressions with multiple terms. So as I'm filling in the notes, just fill them in with me. We are starting on page 1. Expressions with multiple terms. So standard form of a polynomial is going to be where the exponents are decreasing in order. So an example of standard form, you might have like a number times x squared plus another number times x plus some constant. And basically you always want the highest exponent first. So you'll see that more in some of these examples. So if we want to rearrange these into standard form, we're going to take the one with the highest exponent first, so that's 2x squared. Then the next one, which is 3x, and then plus 1. Another example, this one actually looks pretty good so far. It's w to the third, w to the second. All we kind of have to do here is flip-flop these, so that way the constant number with no w's is last. Oops, this should be a minus w, sorry, plus 28. Okay, and ones like 5 and 6, we're not going to look at those for now. We're just going to look at the more basic ones. All right, so this one, we're going to put 7k to the third first, then k squared, then minus k, and then plus 64. And number 4, again, we're going to start with the highest exponent, so it's negative n to the third plus n, and then the regular constant number will go last. Okay, we're also going to talk about classifying or naming polynomials. We can name them by their degree, which is the highest exponent, and number of terms. So according to the degree, we kind of already talked about it. If there's 0 exponents, just like a regular number, we call that a constant. So you can put like a little example here, like just number 9 would be constant. All of these ones that have like a 1, imaginary 1 as the exponent, those are called linear. And that would look like, you know, just the letter, or maybe it has a coefficient, so maybe just like 3x, that would be linear. The ones that have an exponent of 2 are quadratic. And that would look something like x squared. Ones with a 3 will be called cubic. That would look like x cubed. And the ones with 4 we won't see too much of, but they are called quartic, which is x to the 4th. Now, if any time in this video, if you need to pause and kind of catch up, feel free. That's the whole point of having a video. You can pause, you can rewind. Okay, and then based on the number of terms, if we have one term, think mono. So monomial means one term. So that would be, for example, like 2x. Just one term, nothing is added to it. 2 terms, think of a bicycle, binomial. So maybe we have 2x plus 1, 2 things being added. 3, think of like a tricycle or tripod, trinomial. So maybe now we have 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. And anything 4 or more, we would call it just a regular polynomial. So the main ones to remember are monomial 1, binomial 2, trinomial 3. And then again, we can look at some examples of these. So we're always going to identify it by the highest exponent or degree first, and then by how many terms there are. So this one, there's no exponent, so that makes it a constant. And there's one term, so that makes it a monomial. Second one, we have an exponent of imaginary 1, which would be a linear. And again, we only have one thing, nothing is added to it or subtracted from it, so that's a monomial. Next one, we have two things being added, and the exponent is an imaginary 1 there. So this would be a linear, two terms, so binomial. Now we finally have a number there, so it's a squared. So that fancy name for squared is quadratic. You'll see this a lot throughout the rest of math. So this would be a quadratic. And there's three terms, so that would be a trinomial. This one, the highest degree is 3, so that would be a cubic. Two terms is a binomial. And the last one, we have highest degree of 4, so that's a quartic. And there's 4 terms, so we would just call this a polynomial. So there's no fancy number for 4 there. So what I would like you to do now is take out a blank sheet of paper. If you need some, there's some underneath the calendar in the front of the room, and you're going to try some more problems. So let me put up the problems for you. These are not in your packet. So if you want to pause the video here and just copy down these problems, and then pause the video, complete the problems, and I'll show you the answers in a second. So while you're completing them, you might need to fast forward a little bit because I'm going to go ahead and make a quick answer key for you, and then you can resume the video and check your answers. And if you had any questions, just email me. Okay, so again, you can pause on this screen and check your answers. And again, if you had any wrong, just email me. And when you're ready, you can resume and we will go to page 2 of the packet. Okay, so page 2 is adding and subtracting, which basically just involves like combining like terms. So we'll do some examples of each together, and then I'll have you try some practice as well. So when you're adding, you can kind of just drop the parentheses here because you're just combining everything. So what we want to do is like underline your like terms. Don't forget their coefficients. So if we have a negative x squared here and a positive 2x squared there, so that will give us negative 1 and 2 is 1x squared. And we're always going in degree, in standard form degree. So start with the highest exponent. So next would be our regular x's, which I only see 1, so that's going to be a minus 5x. Next would be, oh, I missed one, 11 minus 5. Oops. So 11 minus 5 is going to be actually a positive 6. And then our constants, we have a 13 plus a negative 23, so that would be minus 10 for your final answer. So we can do some more adding ones here. Let's do number 15. So we have a w cubed, and this time there really is only one cubed, okay? W squared, we have negative 2 and positive 3, which would be 1 squared. Do we have any regular w's? Doesn't look like it. And then we have a -5 and -11, which combines to -16. Number 17, we have a negative p squared and a positive p squared. Those just cancel to 0. We have a 5p minus 4p is 1p, and 8 minus 15 is -7. These are really not too bad. Is there another one with plus? Yeah, I'll save the rest for you to do for practice. Okay, now when you're doing subtraction, you don't want to just drop the parentheses. You want to actually rewrite it by changing all of the signs of the second one. So basically we're distributing that -1 over there. So this would be 4x squared plus 5x stays. Then we have a minus 7x minus 3x squared minus 1. And now we can go and combine like terms. So 4x squared minus 3x squared will be 1x squared. 5x minus 7x is -2x. And then we have a -1 at the end for a constant. So let's do some more subtraction ones. Let's do number 20. So again, we're going to distribute the negative to both of them and rewrite it. So 5r minus 2s minus 9r minus negative becomes plus 11s. And then just go combine your r's and s's. So 5 minus 9r would be -4r. And -2s plus 11s would be a positive 9s. Let's do 23. So distribute the negative to everything. So these are all going to become negative there. 7v, not squared, sorry about that. 7v minus v squared plus 14 minus 15 minus 8v minus v squared. So we have a -v squared and another -v squared. So that's -2v squared. We have a 7v and a -8v, which is a -v. And then we have a 14 minus 15, which would be -1. And we'll do just one more together. Okay, so let's distribute this negative. So 8x minus 3y minus 2y. This will become a plus. Minus negative is plus. And then we can combine like terms. So our x's, we have an 8 and a -5. Our y's, we have -3 minus 2 is -5. And then our constant, we have a positive 13 because it was minus a negative. Okay. In number 26, just be careful. It says subtract this from that. So that means you're going to write this one first and then this one second with the minus sign in between them. Okay, so you're kind of working backwards. So what I would like you to do now is finish the rest of this page. I will post the answers for this tomorrow, so that way we can go over them if you had any questions. Now don't shut off the video yet because you have one more thing to do. So you're going to finish this page. Then you are going to write down these problems. Okay, so I also attached a link to a Google form for you to fill out with these problems. So write them down, pause the video here so that way you can see them. Go fill in your answers. It's not graded for correctness. It's just like, you know, one of those participation check-ins that we would normally do through a Google Hangout. So fill in these answers. When you are done with that on the Google form, then you can do your homework, which will be page 3 of your packet. And after that, if you're all done and you have nothing left to do in class, I put up some IXL. So good luck with everything, and we can go over any questions you had. You can email me, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.